Maybe it's just me, but I think I look like Ron Jeremy right now. I don't know if that's good or bad. Definitely don't match the peen, though. Welcome, friends. Last guy free, and it's time for the vlog. You know what? Yeah, everyone's older. Also, Ron Jeremy's like, is he alive? He is alive. No, I don't actually know. Okay, so real quick, this is gonna lose the children of the audience. Any parents, they would know Ron Jeremy was like a 70s porn star, known for having like a foot, just a gigantic wang. Like, it's huge. Just, it's gigantic for just not a black dude, basically. Um, and he was just famous for that. And he did like lots and lots and lots of pornos. I think he still does some as cameos now. If he's still alive, I don't know. It's been actually a while since I've looked at porn, actually. But I remember, like, the hell, Ron Jeremy's doing a cameo. That was interesting. Oh, by the way, because I was looking recently, though, out of curiosity, those who actually look at stuff, you've seen, like, the trend of, like, incest all the time and all that stuff. It's like, what the balls with all that? But it's starting to go away now, which is good, because that was all dumb story stuff. Like, fake story stuff in pornography has always been dumb, in my opinion. I've always found it like this really silly thing that should have stayed in the 70s. And it would have been interesting if we actually got really good storytelling. I would have been really interested. It would have been very interesting if we lived in a timeline where pornography had Oscar level acting and then they got to the sex. And that would have been an interesting timeline, I think. That would have been fun. Where was I going with this? Oh, the new trend right now I've seen is vlogging. Well, where they'll talk about the hotel they're in, the location they're going to, just their life in general, and then they get to the banging. It's very interesting. I saw one where it just came out for like a week and it already had like 8 million views. I'm like, wow, okay, vlogging and then doing it is an interesting new trend. Like, huh, that's interesting. That's kind of cool, but also kind of weird. I get it because it makes it more personal. It's also kind of weird at the same time. Says the guy who's doing a vlog right now. Where am I going? Why is my I was going really high pitched there. Okay, so let's talk about where I have been before we do the why. So it's gonna be the starting half's gonna be fun. The second half's gonna be less fun. Because it's definitely one of the negative whys. But if I do it right, it'll be a good exploration. If I do it wrong, it's gonna be downer as balls. We'll see. We will see. By the way, I should have brushed my hair. No, I'll brush my hair for the second half. So Scarf was in Vegas for 10 days. I said I was going to be in Vegas, but why do I gamble, right? But I didn't want to be too specific because, well, no one was going to be home. That's something that you need to realize with the internet is you should probably not let anyone know you're gone from your home, like, completely. Because there's always a chance someone could find their way there. People have gotten robbed because they're like, I'm going on vacation for a month, and then their house is robbed. So I'm always a little antsy about that. And that's maybe a rare case, but it does happen. So I'm like, I'm going to Vegas, but I don't think I was too specific about it. I don't remember if I was too specific about it. And I was trying not to be too specific on Twitter and everything. If you looked at the Twitter, there's a ton of food pictures. I went to a lot of food places. I went to every Gordon Ramsay place. I went to Hell's Kitchen multiple times. I went to some really, higher class steakhouses. I know what a $100 steak tastes like, and it's actually pretty good. I know what a dessert with gold on it tastes like, and it's actually not bad. Well, the thing is, gold flake is dumb. Like, it's just like a thin layer of gold on edible things. Like, it's not really much. I also went to Resort World. So, history of Vegas, or just those who are semi-familiar with Vegas. In Vegas, there used to be a casino called the Stardust. This was near Circus Circus. It was a big plot of land where the Stardust was. And eventually the Stardust got bought, or they went bankrupt. I forget which one it is. Well, one then the other. Like, they either got bought or they went bankrupt, then they got bought. And Stardust was actually really popular as a sports book because they were their own sports book. So you could go to these other sports books and then go to Stardust. Stardust usually had better odds, and then you could get some good gambling there with the sports book. They used to be the spot, but then they went away. Stardust goes down, and it takes, 10 years to build something on this land? It's been a long time. And it becomes Resort World. Resort World is apparently this casino franchise that's around the world. That's why it's called Resort World. And so that's an interesting spot. Let's see if I can go through the days so I can remember correctly. I took a plane, flew over. Oh, by the way, um, plane ride to Vegas. I was sitting next to a kid who's playing chess, and he's just so intensely just like like this the whole time. And I'm just looking like out of the corner of my eye. I'm playing Sudoku while doing it too. I'm just like Sudoku, looking, and I'm playing that. And the dude had like checkmate in three, and he just does this wildly not the right move at all. I'm like, all right, well, it's gonna go well for you, little buddy. And no, he eventually lost. But he's like, he was just so intense on it. I'm like, wow, okay, all right, that was interesting. Get to Vegas. Vegas is hot. Vegas was also monsoon. I also got hit with monsoon season in Vegas. First 2 days it was hella hot, so we're at the pool. Talking about family. I'm gonna talk about family a little bit here and there, because Dom says family is important, right? Um, this was a family reunion trip to Vegas. Now, there are parts of the family that know this vlog exists, and they're never gonna watch this. But if they ever do, they know this side of the story anyway, so it doesn't matter. And it's not really any dirty laundry I air, is just an interesting story, or just a story, and doesn't really do much. First 2 days was just being at the pool and then like gambling or eating at night, because we were the first ones there. We were there early. And pool at the Flamingo is a nice pool. They got like waterfalls, they got DJs, and they have lots of people there, and the pool's pretty cool. It's also very hot. The floor is stone. The stone on the floor is very hot, and there's very cool. The staff's pretty cool. My dad goes to Vegas like every 2 or 3 weeks now since he's retired, and so he's actually good friends with pretty much the staff at Flamingo, because he likes that pool the most. He also makes friends with other people who regularly go to Flamingo and regularly go to that pool. Very interesting fixture my father is. He knows the life story of quite a few people at that hotel and that pool, because he's just always there. And so I was just hanging out at that pool for like 2 days. It was mostly just me gaming on the chair, or going to the pool to cool off a little bit and get this wild hair settled for a little bit, and trying not to get sunburns. Gambling was just a little bit of gambling in there, a little bit of slot machines and things like that. And then we went to some steakhouse. I went to Hell's Kitchen. Hell's Kitchen has, I got this. If you're a fan of Hell's Kitchen, I got the scallops because that's always on the TV show. And they were just subpar, which is unfortunate. But the beef Wellington was amazing. I now know what beef Wellington tastes like, a good beef Wellington, and it was amazing. And then I also got the sticky toffee pudding. So I've talked about this like years ago. Sticky toffee pudding is a signature dessert by Gordon Ramsay, and it is like a puck, and it is very sweet, has this amazing texture to it, and it was good from the first bite to the last bite. It was amazing. Incredible. It's my favorite dessert of all time, I think. Even better than ice cream, because eventually with ice cream you dull out. My taste buds did not dull at any point with that dessert. It was ridiculous. It's just that good. We have to eat it fresh. The next day it's still good, but not as good. And then we went to the Pinball Hall of Fame, which I did not share all the pictures of that. The Pinball Hall of Fame is just a warehouse in the middle of Vegas. It's near the airport. Big warehouse. Has like 100+ pinball machines. If you're a fan of pinball, that is the spot to go. They had everything from old to new. So like the newer ones with like the more, there's a lot going on the screen more than on the table going, like Deadpool and things like that. They had those machines, and then they had the old classics like from like 70s and 60s. I don't know about 50s, I can't remember right now, but they had really, really old machines, and you could play them. And it was really fun to play these old machines that I never knew I'd ever be able to get my hands on. They also had classic arcade games as well. They had Donkey Kong, they had Mario Brothers, they had Super Mario Brothers, they had a 35-year-old arcade machine. That was a trip to see that. They had Punch-Out, the old machine, where with the buttons, and like with the joystick and the buttons, and then the uppercut had its own button too. They had a lot of classic things. Just, we only were there for 2 or 3 hours. I could have spent a full 12 hours there, so I could experience the entire thing. There were that many machines. There were that many pinball machines. I got to play Theater of Magic again. I got to play... But so, they did not have Pinbot, or the Bride of Pinbot. As far as I could notice, I didn't see those. But the most fun I had was playing Theater of Magic because that was such an over the top pinball machine. And I didn't see Twilight Zone. Oh god, I didn't see Twilight Zone. Theater of Magic and Monsters of Rock. Monsters of Rock is maybe one of my favorites of all time. Monsters of Rock because it is the objectives are not too hard to do. Besides the creature from the Black Lagoon, that one's kind of hard to do, and just how over the top it is. The way this machine works is there's like ramps, there's loops, all these different things you're trying to hit for these different objectives, and the objectives are get Dracula, get Frankenstein, get the Bride of Frankenstein, get the creature of the Black Lagoon, Wolfman, and the Mummy. You're trying to collect these 6, and you're also trying to you have to do their objectives to collect their instruments. And if you get all of that, and also there's different multi-balls going on in all this. There's a Mummy multi-ball, if I remember correctly. There is a multi-ball for Frankenstein. And your objectives are just kind of beating them up. The funny one is, the Bride of Frankenstein's one is just, she's like, I'm going to marry this guy? And then it's called the Ball and Chain. And she just does much violence to Frankenstein. But if you complete all the objectives, which is so hard to do in any pinball machine, because a lot of pinball machines have these objectives, and they have the ultimate multi-ball. Monsters of Rock was, you get in that lock position, and then you have this, basically, a bit of a presentation, where everyone's like, alright, we got the band together, we're gonna rock the house. I forget where they're gonna rock the house at. And it's like an actual live concert thing where all the members of the band are addressing the audience and everything, and then we're gonna rock it out, and then they do it. And it's just such a big presentation. And it was really cool, and multi-ball is insane when you get it all. I've only seen it once in my life. It was so cool. It was really fun to play that. And there's also there were a couple of multi-balls. Another one was Monster Mash, was also the Monster Mash Mosh Pit was another multi-ball in there, which is pretty fun. So Monsters Rock is one of my favorites, definitely. Theater of Magic's a favorite because of just how over the top it is. Twilight Zone, they didn't have that. That's a really good one, because it's a lot of just being very trippy and everything. The cool thing was the white ball in Twilight Zone. You would randomly get these different balls. The white ball in the Twilight Zone, there were magnets all over the place. So the white ball would get just pushed around at random on the table, which could totally screw you over, but also weird you out. There are also magnets on there to pull balls too, so the ball would go, like you would have a straight down. This was the coolest thing about Twilight Zone was, you sometimes in pinball, the ball goes straight down, you lose. But you'll have a save sometimes in different ones where like maybe a blocker will show up. In Twilight Zone, if the ball's going straight down and it detects it, it'll magnetize and grab the ball before it gets down there and then push it to the side, which was one of the coolest concepts. People got to run wild with their imagination sometimes with pinball, which is pretty cool. They had the Next Generation pinball machine, which was cool, because that one was, you fired a trigger, and you could get the ball into, like, a photon torpedo port, so you could fire the pinball, which was pretty cool. There are a lot of fun concepts. Pinball's had a lot of very fun concepts. And the one I didn't notice until it was too late, because we were leaving, they had Apollo 13, and I keep wanting to play this one. I want to unlock the multi-ball. The multi-ball for Apollo 13 is 13 balls. 13 balls. I want to do that. I've never done it. Never got a chance to do that. Oh, by the way, with some of the old machines, you actually loaded the pinball yourself. Like there's like a little thing you pull and push, and it'll just put the ball over, which is very interesting. And there were 5 ball pinball machines, so you could just load one at a time, or get a friend and they just load them up and blast them, so you're doing 5-ball multi-ball. Of course, that's all your balls right there, and you're going to probably lose real quick, but it's still a fun concept. Out of the old machines, there were 2 really interesting ones. There was one where, well, there were a lot of interesting concepts. They also had objectives back in the day with them, too. One was like a race car one, where the middle thing was this rotor, and so it would have numbers showing up in 2 parts of the rotor, and you'd hit them to get the numbers on the screen, like 1 through 10. You got all 10, you get an extra ball, or you get a jackpot. That was interesting. Another one was a bowling alley one with 10 pins to hit. Hit them all would do the objective. Or there was one where you're summoning a genie, so you just got to hit these different things to get the thing. The most interesting concept, I think, was the football one. There was one where it was football. You had 2 scores. You had your point score and your football point score. And so as you're playing, there's a timer going on where the ball is coming towards you. And as you hit certain things, like you hit pass, or you hit a rush, or you hit like punt, or things like that, or extra points, like field goal, you're either getting points or you're pushing the ball forward. Like pass was a flipper, so you had to hit it really hard to get it really going. And every time you filled up, you got a touchdown. And that was pretty cool. So you got to see what your football score was besides your actual point score as well. And there were 4 flippers. So you had flipper and then flippers. And it took up most of the bottom. So the only way really to fail is it went straight down, or if you opened the flippers the wrong way and they went through, which was a really interesting concept to see there. It was really fun playing pinball. I could have spent the whole day there, but since I'm there with family, I don't get to stay there the whole day. Then it was just doing stuff with family and gambling and eating out with family, eating at these different places. If you know Vegas, we went to Baby Stacks. On my way back home, I went to Baby Stacks, which is pretty good. It's like Hawaiian, like kind of Hawaiian, but also got Filipino stuff in there. Or it's Hawaiian, Filipino, or something like that. And the founders are veterans, so there's a lot of veterans who eat there. And they have really, really good pancakes. That's why they call Baby Stacks. It's because they do stacks of pancakes. And they're really good. I got the banana Fosters, which was really good. And then my aunt and uncle got like a crepey one. And we went to, so things are going to get, I'm just going to say different places. We went to Circus Circus. Circus Circus has changed, but they've evolved and are still alive. Good for them. They had some fun machines there. They had all the House of the Deads, which House of the Dead 1 is my favorite of all time. So I played and I beat it twice. I went double gun for fun, and then I want to see how far I can go with single gun. And I am full of pride that I'm still able to beat that game without a continue, even after all these years. I'm so full of pride of that. I wasn't able to get the no one dies ending though, which is hard to do because you need to get no one to die. I got close. 2 people died though. House of Dead is always gonna be a favorite of mine. If I could own that machine, I would. Don't have the money to buy that machine, especially now. It's got to be way more harder to own. Especially, only so many of them exist now. A cool one they had was like Mega Centipede or Centipede Chaos, where you could have 3-player Centipede and it's a giant screen. And it was pretty cool. And then they had just the usual things you would have at a kid arcade. So you have skee ball and you have table hockey, things like that. They had DDR. I didn't even touch DDR. I was too busy doing other things. If I had more time, I probably would have seen how well I can do DDR these days. How well could me do? Back in the day, I could do the highest stuff. Sometimes I succeed, sometimes I fail. I'm not like perfect at the hardest difficulty, but I could do the highest difficulty. I don't think I have that cardio anymore, though. But I would have liked to have seen how far I could have gone at this age. Resort World. So Resort World had an interesting concept that we'll see if it happens again in the future. I'm squeaking this chair. They had like 14 food places, but they're all connected to, they're all under one umbrella. So what you do is you go to the kiosk, you pick what you want to eat, and then you charge it on your card, and then you give them a phone number, and they'll text you your phone when your order's done, and they'll give you your confirmation number, and you just go up to there and you show them the confirmation number and you get your food. That's all you do. That was pretty cool right there. And every place has the same drink, so if you want like a Coke or a Sprite or whatever, you would just, from any of them, just grab the drink and you're good. Feels like a bit of an honor system though. But it was interesting to do that. They also, at the middle, they had a big dessert area where it was shaved ice dessert. So it was shaved ice, and then they put like sweet cream on it, and strawberries and chocolate or whatever the heck you want on it. That was pretty good. It was interesting. It was kind of like a hollow kind of thing. If we don't know what that is, it's fine. Because of the mix of things they had in some of the desserts. Oh, by the way, I lost or spent, I'll say both, about $1,000+ on this trip. Because I kept having to gamble with various family members who don't gamble. And just because I had to hang out, I'm like, well, I'm going to gamble, I'm hanging out. I lost quite a bit on the slot machines, but I made a lot of money on slot machines too. Most of my money was made at the sports book. Here's the problem, if you're a fan of the Padres, Jesus. While I was in Vegas, the Padres lost like every game. which was not great because it was killing mine and my dad's tickets for the most part. My dad had like 7 or 8 teamers that only lost because of the Padres. Same thing for me. But I made most of my money back at the book because I was just having a good understanding of what was going on with the players. When it came to like single games, like I'll do like bigger bets on single games. Like I'm very sure this was going to go well for me. Whereas the parlays didn't go well always. There were like 3 days where it went really bad because the dogs just kept winning. The underdogs were just winning all over the place. But for the most part, I was pretty on, except for those 3 days. Same thing for my dad. But the Padres are what killed the rest of those tickets. Here's the thing about family reunions, or any big family gathering. They're going to be from all over the political spectrum. And to be honest, don't tell me if you're not vaccinated, guys. I just don't want to argue with you about any of that. Now, if you don't have access, that's a different story. I'm talking about if you're doing it by choice. I don't really want to talk about that, guys. I really don't. Because you're obviously going to learn my standpoint right now. So, family reunion. There are a bunch of branches of the family tree coming to this family reunion. All but one family is vaccinated. There are 2 members of one family who are not vaccinated. One, because he's a dipshit, and fine. The other, because, well, fuck. I'm very confused by certain people not being vaccinated. And that is anyone who's married to anyone in the medical field. Very odd. My aunt's a nurse. My uncle is married to my aunt. They've had discussions. He still isn't vaccinated. And he's also a former military man. You're required to be vaccinated in the military. Depending on your state right now, though, you're not. Active duty, though, you're vaccinated against everything. And right now, the DoD is like, okay, so we're going to force everyone in the active military, regardless of state, to take the vaccine. Because obviously, you want your people who are defending your country and attacking other countries. You want your military to be in tip-top shape. And you don't want COVID to come in and just knock out their readiness for a while. You don't want that at all. Well, you can do a planned one with the vaccine because it does have some side effects. Because what the vaccine does is that it makes it less severe and less deadly. It's very helpful in that way. The vaccines are about 90-ish% effective in stopping COVID from happening. But if it does happen, it makes them less dangerous. 90% efficiency is not 100% efficiency. This is the thing that bothers me with family who they're like, well, there's still breakthroughs, so what's the point? It's like, the point is, it's less severe if you get it. That's the point. That is literally the point of the whole damn thing, is you have better protection than no protection towards it. The thing is, I have a cousin who is anti-masker and anti-vax, and he has caught COVID 3 times, and it has not done too much to him. I'm like, well, thank God. Thank God he's got a great immune system. He's not wrecking him. But he thinks that COVID ain't shit. But I also lost an uncle to it. So at the same time, I'm also very annoyed about all this. I've lost family to COVID. It's very frustrating to see other members of the family not take it seriously. It's also just frustrating to see anyone in general not take it seriously. Because it has killed people. It's killed a lot of people, damn it. So there are 2 people in this entire family reunion who are not vaccinated. And that is the husband and the son of one of the siblings that was part of this family reunion. It's my dad's family, it's his brothers and sisters and cousins, and one sister has the only unvaccinated people in the whole thing. So certain members of the family do not want to be around those members of the family. And they could get that vibe. Me, I was like, all right, I'll be around them, sort of. Like, I'm gonna hug them, and I'm gonna get as far away from everyone else for a little bit. Like, I was trying to do, like, these little paranoid-looking movements of don't breathe in their air, don't be in their presence too long, things like that, but also doing enough that they know I'm there, and I still am family with them kind of thing. That all sounds very paranoid, I know. But I did whatever little measures I could to make sure that I don't catch it if they have it on them. Because you just got to be careful. Like, I'm going to go back on a plane later on. I'm going to get all these people sick if I get sick, kind of thing. And I got people around me at work. I'm trying to be as careful as I can because I'm just making sure I don't get anyone sick. And so we had all these planned big gatherings. And they did not happen because of that part of the family. And other parts of the family spent days, a lot of time preparing for these moments. And when that part of the family didn't show up, it was very upsetting to parts of the family. That they bailed because other people were uncomfortable with them not being vaccinated. Like, I think one of the big problems was one cousin tried to get ahead of it. She called them and told them ahead of time that, knowing that they're not vaccinated, she'll be there, but she's not going to get too close to those members of the family. Like, she just wants to be safe. So she was trying to be ahead of it, trying to be considerate instead of just being, one would say, rude by just not interacting with them at all. But they got offended. That part of the family got offended that just because they're unvaccinated, they would be treated differently, and they pulled out of any of the gatherings completely. And with all the time spent preparing for these gatherings and all the stress of it all, it was too much, and certain members of the family just broke down and cried about it because, well, they did so much to prepare for this, and it's a family reunion, haven't seen certain members in a long time. It's very unfortunate. Now, what annoys me was the family that pulled out, they started putting the blame on my father, saying that they had a miscommunication with him, and that's why they weren't there. So they used my dad as a scapegoat, which is very frustrating for sure. Because my dad's always hanging out at the pool, so they were saying that they were holding a table at the pool for my dad, and that's why they were just at the pool the whole time instead of at this family gathering. Which is, we all knew this family gathering was going to happen this whole damn time. What are you doing holding up? You can have one person hold that damn table. Like, you don't need to have everyone there to hold the damn table. What are you doing? So, it was not the best excuse. Piss poor excuse. Not great. We also did Topgolf. Topgolf was very fun. Topgolf, it was really, really fun. They're going to try to build one in San Diego. They do that. You'll see me there every week. It's not the same as actual golf, of course, because you're just hitting a ball really hard. You don't do any putting. You don't walk around. But it was a very fun experience, for sure. And those of you who are a fan of hitting a golf ball, if you did not know about Topgolf, and if there's one in your location, they have like a summer deal where you can pay like $180. This is advertisement all of a sudden. You can pay $180, and from like Labor Day to Memorial Day, whichever way, from May to September, you get as much time as you want from 12 to 5. Every day. And they do like $30 to $60 an hour, depending on the time and day, to do golf. So you just need to do a couple hours and you've already justified the thing. And you're doing it every week. You're getting a lot of money out of that. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun doing that. Overall, I had a lot of fun in Vegas, and I lost about $1,000 there. I got killed at the tables for sure. I know I lost $300 at the tables. It was frustrating. I had a bad feeling about the table, and I still played anyway, and it just tanked. And I just lost a bunch of money there, which is unfortunate. But it was well worth it, just seeing family and doing all the fun things. It was worth spending and losing that much money. It was totally fine. Alright, so cuts are happening here and there, because family keeps happening. And since family happened, I remembered a few more things. Okay, so, one, I wear this red hat every day in Vegas. It's to keep my hair under control. And that's why my family's like, where are you? I'm like, I'm the only jackass wearing a red hat in Vegas. You can find me. Like, really, I was the only one wearing it. This is a no-logo hat. I've told you all this before, and that I prefer things without any logos on them for the most part, because I don't want this to define me. Like, I don't want to be defined by wearing Coach or Prada or Champion or whatever brand. I want to be defined by who I am. And so having a non-thing, yeah. I was considering, I would have, if I could have gotten it. I wanted the Fatal Fury hat, Terry Bogard trucker hat, but I wanted it without saying Fatal Fury on it. I just wanted that hat. Actually, does it say Fatal Fury on his hat? I don't know. I think it's just a white hat, right? White and red hat? I can't remember right now. There's no way he wears a hat that says Fatal Fury on it. But I was looking for it, I just couldn't find it. So I just got a red hat. Because I wasn't going to bring the Kirby hat, because that's going to get smoky. Like, this is smoky. This smells smoky now. Because Vegas has smoke in it. Other thing... Like, Family's family. You tolerate family. Of course, some people don't think that's a good enough excuse. You shouldn't just tolerate family. But the truth is, it's up to you how you want to do it. For me, family's family. You tolerate family. The good and the bad of them. Though I really don't want anything to do with my anti-masker cousin. Because he's done a lot of stupid things. I also don't want anything to do with my unvaccinated cousin either. He's done a lot of stupid things too. They both have kids. They both have beautiful wives. There's some jealousy, maybe. Let me see. Do I feel jealousy about that? No. I feel like there's just no justice. In that these stupid people have things that I want. But it's not necessarily jealousy. It's more the realization that the world is vast. And even the stupidest can get people. That's the wrong way to word it. Even the stupidest people can find love. And that is like, well, and that puts on me, like, well, what's wrong with me then, since I am alone? But before we get to that, do I love my family unconditionally? That's a question I ask myself right now. Do I love my family unconditionally? To an extent, I suppose, because they are my blood. Am I being fake, though? Because if I see my anti-vax cousin, he's not going to know I think he's an idiot. He's just going to be like, I'm just like, oh, hey, yeah, how you doing? How are things going? And then I'll just move on. He's never going to know that I absolutely think he's a moron. He's never going to know that. So am I being fake, or am I just like, well, it's not worth arguing with family about this stuff? I don't know. One of my uncles is very outspoken. Very outspoken about freedom and about his opinions on things. He's also weirdly, uncomfortably casual about his willingness to kill other people. Probably because he's former military, but he's way too casual about, like, well, if someone gives me trouble, I'll just blow their brains out. I'm like, really uncomfortably casual about killing people in his rhetoric. But I counted. He complained about, because on that Friday we had to wear masks again, like it was mandated. And he took every opportunity to complain about it, like 15 times. He got mad about it every time he had the mask on. And for me, it was just like, well, mask on, masks off, masks on, masks off, and that was it. Oh, this is where the mask gotta be on, this is where the mask gotta be up, and that was it. And it gave me this form of thought of, here's Tom. He's a sheeple. He does what everyone else wants to do. Here's Mark. He doesn't do what everyone else wants to do. He's a rebel. He's his own thing. He's actually a part of this other flock of sheep instead. Like, there are just sheeple everywhere. Everyone's sheeple of a different kind. They think they're a wolf in sheep's clothing, but the truth of the matter is, they're just a different type of sheep, to be honest. We're all being fed different narratives from different places, and we're all falling into different groups. As much as we like to think we're individuals, we're very much just being a part of a different group, a different archetype, a different subset. And no matter how holier than thou or more a rebel or just individualist you feel, you're actually just part of a different group that does a different thing and follows a different mindset. But you follow a group's mindset. Because my uncle is not something I've only seen once. I've seen many versions of my uncle. They complain about the masks all the time. They think all this vaccination stuff is BS. They just say the same things, but they see themselves as an individual. And it's just an individual with the same mindset as so many others. And they were fed this mindset by, well, certain places. Sheeple of a different brand. That's all it is. And if I can find a good way to coin it, I will. But I can't think of it right now. Oh yeah, one more story, then I'm going to do the why. And the why's going to be very short at this point, because, oh my god, we're going long. So I was working grave last night. At like 2 a.m., I see a tarantula. She's like, I'm like, all right, well, that's on the ground there. Keep my eye on that, because I got to walk through here every now and then. I don't want to step on that. That would be really unfortunate. So I look down on occasion. 4 a.m., my building's a 2-story building. I come out of to go do work and do stuff like that. Glass doors, glass windows, all that stuff. Come down the stairs, pretty groggy, turn the corner, and I go to the door, the glass door. It's right there on the glass door. It's like, fuck! Like, just surprised me. And it's as big as my hand. It was just on the glass. So I was like, shoot, all right, well, I'm going to just turn around and go a different way outside. So that was fun. All right, so the why. And so the why is going to get buried after all this stuff. I don't know how many people are going to get this far. Maybe 4 of you are going to get to this far in the video. When you get to the why. Because the why is the title of this whole thing, right? And the why is, and I assume Jinx will be using the thumbnail from earlier in the video instead of now, and that is, why do I feel ugly? That's something I want to explore here. And it's a construct of many things. Why do I feel ugly? Because it's constructed by different things, by society, by family, by all these various things. And, well, society is probably the biggest factor in why people have their self-esteem issues. Especially when you have like social media and all that stuff. You see all these beautiful people online. But the thing is, you don't think about the grand scheme of things like, yeah, this is one beautiful person or a dozen beautiful people out of 7 billion people. There's varying degrees of looks on this planet. But the most popular ones, of course, are these ones that are considered the most beautiful. And so we just see these a lot. And that's not the only, it's not just influencers or models. You also have, of course, television. Of course, pretty people are all over television. You have animation as well. Animation usually has very attractive looking people. Big boobs, big butts, big muscular dudes, or just very fit dudes. All these different standpoints of what is beauty. You don't have many just big fat dudes that are popular in anything. Usually the fat dude is maybe the villain, or the bully, or some lesser side character. I think what was the only major fat character is freaking Steven Universe I can think of at the top of my head right now. Just same thing with comics. Like, all the women are just bombshells and all the dudes are muscular or fit in some way. The only fat dude in comics I can think of right now is the Blob, and he was a villain. What are some fat heroes? Only fat hero I can think of in comics right now is Faith, and that's from an independent comic. It's usually people are very fit, because of course you need to be fit to fight crime. It's kind of hard to fight crime if you don't have good cardio, obviously. So that makes sense there. But then for some reason the villains are able to just be like fat and just sit in a throne and control and do things like, I don't know, it's weird. Or not be as fit. Weird. It's weird. So a lot of media throws at you that you need to be fit. Or you need to have, like, yeah, I'll say from my standpoint, like, nice short hair. How many attractive men have long hair? The furthest they go is maybe shoulder length, like right, like above shoulder length, or just there, right there, like this much. Like, who are these? Most guys are, though, just have short hair. Or they got long, like right in the front kind of thing, but not too much going on there. You can think in fiction, you can think in real life people. Like, you can go like Chris Evans, he's got like that short hair right there. You can go like Keanu Reeves, his hair is kind of longish, but not that long. Brad Pitt's got more like a feather look going on. Just all the major actors that you can think of, like, who's been doing just action, things like that. Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Mark Wahlberg. These all are just short-haired dudes. Short-haired white dudes, by the way. Idris Elba, though, short-haired black dude. Jason Statham, mostly bald. The Rock is bald. Vin Diesel, bald. What's his name that died from the car accident in Fast and the Furious? Very short hair. The only long-haired dude in all of Fast and Furious is Hung. I say Hung, yeah, it's Hung, and he's got it's got that bowl cut hair pretty much. He's got the stereotypical Asian hair. And it's all straight hair. When you think about it, the only people who are allowed to have curly hair is just Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa is the only famous person who's allowed to have curly hair. That's it. And maybe Jared Leto, because he's all over the place with his hairstyle. That's it. Everyone else, you gotta have, like, straight hair. I've got this long curly hair. And so I only feel less ugly when it's short. And here I have it long. Now, here's another thing I forgot to mention from the family, because this was going to be the lead-in. I just remembered. Lead-in was I was at the pool with family, and I got this long hair. And my bedhead for this is just this giant cone of hair. Oh, as you saw at the start of this whole thing, I suppose. Like that kind of thing. And they're like, well, you look really Samoan and really Hawaiian, which But for them, it's like that's a good thing because, well, we are Islander people, so I look very Islander, and so my family wants me to keep my long hair. So I have family wants me to keep long hair. I'm like, well, do women like a dude with long hair? And I look at media, I look at society. The answer is no, for the most part. I look at all the couples as I'm in Vegas. I look at all these couples, and it's short-haired dudes with long-haired girls, short-haired dudes with short-haired girls. But there's no long-haired dude with anything. Like, there just doesn't exist. I did not see any example of that couple anywhere, which makes me very self-conscious about my looks. There's also the classic, double chin. I got that going right now. I needed to shave for work, so this is here, and I want to lose this, so I will hopefully lose this. Or just grow out this facial hair so it's not as visible again. So I feel, of course, self-conscious of that. I feel self-conscious of my belly. I feel self-conscious because, like I said, fitness. I do not look fit. So I feel self-conscious of that. I have arms. Like, I got some definition in these things, and I'm proud of that. But I do have this belly here. And so when it feels attractive, I feel like I am lesser because I do not meet the media standards. And so I express, of course, like, well, ladies aren't going to like this long hair. I'm like, what am I going to do with this? And family's like, well, it's about personality. It's also about how much money you make. And they're not wrong about that. Certain types of people care about how much money you make, of course. They care about how much you bring to the family. This is actually I don't know about other cultures, but it's definitely an Asian thing. Certain Asian cultures, the parents definitely want to know how much you make because they want to know their daughter or son, well, mostly daughter, can be taken care of. And so that is an important thing in Asian culture. And so that is something that's like, yeah, okay, I can say I make a good amount of money. I make very good money, but that only entices a certain group. That's not going to be enough there. And personality, you judge a book by its cover all the time. And if this cover does not look great, you're not going to see how great I am underneath. You're just not going to. You're just not. Like, even I have some shallowness as well. Like, I like certain things. I love women of varying shapes and sizes. And I've done quite a few things. But there are specific types that I do like more than others. And those types are not attracted to my type. At least, very much, it's a rare outlier. And so I want to change my body shape. I want to work out more. I want to exercise more. I want to diet better so that I can be more attractive. Because the world tells me I am not attractive. And of course, self-esteem is very important. Self-confidence is very important. Because you have people, you got like the big ladies who are like, no, I'm great. I'm beautiful and all that. And like, all the power to you having that confidence. And even if I don't think you are attractive, I applaud that you think you are attractive. And because there are 7 billion people on this planet, there are people who find you attractive as well. And that's something, of course, I need to understand is there are people who think I look good as I am right now. The problem is, I have not met those people. I do not know where those people are. Okay, I've met them once, and that was an ex. And that probably is what it hurts as well, breaking up with them was, I had an ex who was a body type I like, and I was a body type she likes. She likes the chubby boys. And so, nice. That was a nice physical thing. But some mental and personality things conflicted, unfortunately. And some other factors as well. And we did not work out. And it hurts, because in a lot of ways, there was a lot that worked out there, and there were things that didn't work out there. And it's very... And that one hurt. That one hurt, losing that one. The other thing was... And it's something I notice, and I don't know if anyone else notices. And that is because symmetry is beauty. My face is not symmetrical. My eyes and eyelids are definitely not symmetrical, in that when I was a kid, I got jumped. I got the F beaten out of me. I was nearly beaten to death when I was a child. And so part of my face is a little different, and I notice it every time. Like, one eye is droopier than the other. They don't match. And every time I take a selfie, I notice it, and it makes me uncomfortable. Like, I have poor breathing because I was nearly beaten to death. My face is a little misshapen in this area because I was nearly beaten to death. My life has been nuts. And so I've always been subconscious of that. And of course, subconscious of belly, because that's just society there. And now, of course, I feel subconscious about my back scar from my surgery. I definitely feel subconscious about that. When I was at the pool, I'm like, that's why I didn't hang out at the pool too long. It was just go in there, dip, cool off, and then go sit at the chair because I don't want people looking at my back scar. It's not a pretty scar. As I work out and I lose weight, I do feel more attractive. I feel, because I'm getting healthier as well, so I feel like I'm something worth dating. But then here's a different one that makes me feel unattractive. That is age. Scarf's about to hit 35. And I've gone full range on my dating thing, and my thing is not too early in the 20s, but like 25 plus. Like, I'm going up and down 10. So I'm going down 10, up 10. I just think, what would a 25-year-old even... No, once they see the number 3, I don't think they see any attractiveness at all just because of age, I feel. And that's a very self-conscious thing. There's a lot of ageism. I'll say that word, although I think I cringe at saying it like that. There are people who are like, it's fine to date that low, and there's people who are like, that's disgusting. And I don't know. That's the thing. That's also thinking about what the rest of the world thinks. And that is, again, society. You can, of course, say F what society thinks. You can, of course, say, do what you do, be confident in yourself, and things like that. But I just don't feel it. I feel so much pressure from society and so much pressure from the world to be a certain way. See, this is why we're exploring the whys of things. Why are these things? So we can try to understand why they are, and maybe, just maybe, break free of them once we understand what they are. So, of course, you understand, this is societal pressure. This is what society throws at me, that this is what it views as attractive. And I have, for my whole life, been like, yeah, that's what attractive is, and I'm not that, so I feel like crap. And of course, it is up to me to just say, F you, society, I'm not, and then just go from there. And maybe someday I will make that separation, or I won't, because I'm just working towards exercise, and I feel like then I'll become acceptable to society. I don't know. I'm not sure where I'm on that, but at least I'm thinking about it, I suppose. No man is an island. The world around us influences us and makes us who we are. Nature versus nurture. Nature, it's not nature versus nurture, it's nature and nurture, as I've always seen it. You have this tendency or nature towards maybe this or that, and then the world will change the odds of what you'll do, or what you'll be, or what your options are. This was a very long episode. I guess it's making up for the fact we haven't had a vlog in 2 or 3 weeks. A lot of thought, a lot of exploration here. I hope I don't think I was too rambly at too much. I think it was just exploring. But there you go. That is the vlog. That's exploring. So in summary, we talked about pornography. Family reunion. We talked about Vegas. Talked about some random stories. And then, why do I feel ugly? And that's everything. That's everything we went over today. And I should have said this earlier, but why do we do these Why series? So that we can try to understand ourselves. Like, I'm exploring why am I these things, so I can try to understand myself better and maybe improve myself. And by doing this, maybe you guys and gals will do the same. Well, you'll take inventory of yourself and find better answers. Because sometimes we're just on autopilot. We're just going through, and we don't take time to step back and think about things, and don't find ways to improve ourselves. How will I improve from this? I'm not sure, but at least I have taken some time and thought into it, while I haven't had before. That's the vlog. I had fun. Hope you have fun watching. That's what's all about, isn't it? Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.